So in this recording, I wanted to address a passage in the New Testament, and this passage, is controversial because it's really, really easy to sort of get this wrong or to not understand what it's saying. So I'm going to just give you guys my interpretation of the passage so that you have a clear mind about it. So the passage basically is saying that rulers are ordained by God and they do good works under God and all this stuff. Like God wants them to be in charge. That's why they're the ruler and all this stuff. Okay. So first off, let's do the context. At that point in time, there were kings, not democracies. We have a democracy. I don't know. We don't have a ruler. We have a president. He's not a ruler. He's part of a mini people. So when you say ruler, it's not plural. It's saying ruler. It says one person who's in charge. One. So we don't have a ruler. If we had a ruler, we would have a king or an emperor. That's a ruler. That means one guy who makes all the decisions. He's ruling. The president is not a ruler because he can't do anything without the Congress. So he's not a ruler. So we don't even have a ruler, first off. So when you say, the ruler is in charge and everything, if you're an American, you don't have a ruler. So let me just say that first, okay? So that's important. No, there is no ruler in America. We don't even have one. So it doesn't matter if it says submit to him or not because we don't have one. So some people think that ruler means that any guy who has power. I was like, ruler doesn't mean any guy that has power. Ruler means exactly what it's saying. Ruler, as in we don't have one because we're a democracy. And in a democracy, you don't have rulers. So I wanted to clear that up in case people don't know that. The United States does not have rulers. Okay, that's not what it was talking about. The king is a ruler. The emperor is a ruler. And back in the time of Jesus Christ, that's what we had. We didn't have a president. We didn't have a Congress, okay? And even in Rome at that time, Rome had an emperor, and the emperor had absolute power. So he was a ruler. So a lot of people will be like, well, ruler said this. That was like, first off, the United States does not have a ruler. The United States hadn't had a ruler in a pretty long since King George. That was our last ruler, so we don't even have one. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't apply to us. Okay, so, it really doesn't. So it says, let every subject be unto the higher powers, which is highly interpretive. When you talk about higher powers, yeah, technically, you have to be subject. You have to follow the rules, is what it's saying. Follow the rules. You have to follow the rules of the laws. So that'll apply to us somewhat, follow the rules of the higher power, be subject to it. So what that's saying, if you're saying subject to the higher power, it means that they're going to make laws. They're going to make laws and rules, and you have to follow the rules that are made by your government. So that would apply to us. That part applies to us, okay, for the most part. So whoever therefore resists the power resists the ordinance of God, and they shall receive themselves damnation. So basically it's saying that these people were tasked with creating laws. And by their task is to create laws, and we have to follow their laws. Like if they create a law, we have to live within the legal system of our governments. And slaves also fell into this category where you have to obey the laws and the governance of wherever you live in. So the United States is a country of laws made by the higher powers, and the higher powers would be Congress and the President of the United States. If the president or Congress makes a law, we have to follow the laws, and the laws are ordained by God, meaning that us following the law is equivalent to us following the rules of God, because God wants these laws, and God has allowed Congress and the president to come up with laws for us to follow. So that's the translation of that. Let's see what else we can do here. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. So that means that the laws create good works, allowing us to live comfortably and safe. We're safe and comfortable because these people made laws that protect us. So that makes sense. Okay. So basically, if it wasn't for the laws that Congress and the president make, if we didn't have these laws, we would live in an evil world where people could go out and kill each other and do whatever they wanted, and there would be no protection for it. So that makes sense. We don't have protection from the laws. If we don't have rulers or higher powers creating laws that keep us safe, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I think we can all understand that. Okay, will thou not be afraid of the power that do which is good? Will thou not be afraid of the power that do which is good? So what that's saying is that, would you not be afraid of the law that keeps us safe? So these higher powers created laws for us to follow. Would you not be afraid of their laws that are designed to keep humanity safe? Is basically what that means. So let's go a little further. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute the wrath upon them that do evil. What that means is that he is designed to come up with laws. These laws and rules are designed to keep us safe, okay? And I think I kind of touched on that, to do good. And the good part is super relevant. So the laws are designed to do good because they protect us from bad things happening and bad people. It's just like, you know, if they created a law saying that you can't steal or something, that protects us. And he will punish you by arresting you and putting you in prison if you will disobey these laws, okay? So like, these laws are good. So that's important. These laws are good. 4 words. These laws are good. And you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Therefore ye must need be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. So he said that we should follow the laws and the rules, not just because we'll be punished, but because it's the right thing to do, because these things are good. These things are good. Laws are good. And I used to say, I said it 100 times before, I like laws. I like rules. And I think I said that in the recording that I made audio. I said, I like these things. I mean, this is great to have laws and rules and stuff. Like, I was always for that. I'm a rule follower. Okay. And I think it's great that we have all these good rules to keep us safe. And we should do it not because we're going to be punished for it, but because it's good. You know, it's a good thing to have. It really is. So, let's see what else we got here. Well, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, yeah, so I just want to be clear about that. Like, I don't, you know, and a lot of times people take this passage and run with it and make it whatever they want it to be. Okay, like, that's why you guys need to start reading King James. Because King James, you know, when you allow someone else to interpret something for you, they may not be completely honest and objective, okay? You got to really just try to figure it out for yourself a little bit, okay? Just read the original King James. You know, people can, like, I heard people say that, you know, the person is the ruler or the leader of the church. I was like, the leader of the church is not a ruler, man. He is not a ruler. He is a church leader is not a ruler. A ruler is your king and your emperor, or either a higher power or a higher power. I mean, but technically, yeah, I mean, but it gets complicated. I think that I've done a pretty solid job of explaining it. So hopefully that explains it. That's how I see it, at least. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I mean, just drop a comment. I'll try my best to answer your questions. But remember, I'm not ordained to be a teacher or anything. So I can't just like run a Sunday school or whatever. So yeah, I just figured I'd clear that one up. And yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just message me in the comment section. Until then, peace.